Unfortunately, I'm gonna be the hater on this card. I honestly, I do hate cards like these.
80% of the people were playing the same freaking deck.
Welcome to WWB Ward Wide Broadcast. This is episode 36, and I just want to say that, as the number one Ward broadcast, I believe that after we've seen some stuff in the Discord, I think that Ward, the trading card game, is potentially going to be the biggest TCG game out there. I don't know if you Tyler and Adam. Sorry, Adam is here. VictorApex is back. He was with us before. Hi, Adam.
What's up?
I always forget to introduce everybody. And then Tyler's here with us. No Billy. Billy is off doing some other things, so he won't be joining us tonight. But we got two wonderful gentlemen here. But what I was saying is that I think if you guys looked in the Discord, that they were showing some boss deck things that the Magic the Gathering were doing, which a lot of people think they're ripping off the fact that Ward did their boss battles, even though some people in the Discord said that that's already been a thing that's been established in a lot of other trading card games, I guess, from the research they were doing.
The only one I've seen is Lorcana, but I'm not sure. It's probably very
First
different.
TCG
but
here, I have no idea.
Either way, I just want to make sure everybody knows. Like I said, we cover Ward, and so it's like I think at some point Ward, if everyone starts copying all the things Ward's doing, hey, that's a good thing for the game for sure. And so I just wanted to throw that shout out there for him. But to start off this episode, we do have to talk about the Fall League of WWB. If you guys don't know, everybody who registered is now in the league, and this is the first week of the Fall League. So thank you for everybody who is participating in it. I know that both of these guys here are in the league too, so we're definitely growing and getting a lot more people in and involved. And I think it's just a great opportunity for a lot of people playing Ward, that if they don't have, let's just say locals, or they don't have a card store in their area that provides Ward yet, and if they don't, definitely go reach out to Marty in the Discord. If you know who Marty is and you are from the Discord, help him find all those stores and get them in there so you can play locally. But if you can't, this is why WWB started this league. And so I guess I played my match. I don't know about you guys, but I played actually against Marty, speaking of the man himself. I posted our deck, my deck and his deck. I ran dinos, and he ran a baby creature deck that had legendary equipment, bioregen, backstab, and apocalypse. So we'll just say it, baby animals, creatures aren't very great in the game. So it was quite a stomp. But I think Marty had a good time, and it's kind of funny. He just to kind of see the ideas that he has of Ward. We haven't really seen him on, and I recorded the episode. So as I did for the first league, I will be doing my games going through this league too. So that was all good. But again, if you guys want to, I'm sure there'll be tons of people playing their games in the league and posting and saying, hey, if you want to watch, you can watch, and get in there. And if you want to see what Untapped, kind of how Ward is played on Untapped, I think it's a really good resource. So again, got to do the shameless plug for our own things. But yeah, how about for you guys? Did you guys get your games in for the Fall League yet?
No, I'm gonna be playing on Sunday against the Better Joe. That should definitely be a good time. I have no idea what I'm going to run yet. I'll probably a Pumpkin Man deck, Pumpkin Man with the subject, because I've played against other people with that deck, and, they did quite well with it. And, as you said, with the league, it gives people an opportunity to play online. And one of the best parts about the league is, obviously with official tournament play and everything, you've got to have physical cards on everything, including official tournaments that are held online. And, this is a great opportunity that if anybody is trying to learn more of the game or experiment with decks, that it gives them a chance to play with stuff. Because, for people who, aren't seeking the 150, they're able to be like, oh, let me try play testing a deck that I don't necessarily have. And this could be definitely something that oh, I love this play style of something that I tried out. I'm definitely going to be, searching for those cards. So, it should be a good time. Every week, try to do a different deck than my normal tournament deck that I use. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I can go a little bit farther than I went in the last one.
I like that you brought up Pumpkin too. I feel like Pumpkin Man is definitely one
That's
of
the
those.
deck I lost to.
I feel like that deck though is one that not a lot of people have, or at least I don't see a lot of people, saying like, "Oh, that's my deck," or "I like that deck," especially like in the Discord or anything. So I hope to see it gets a little more love because I do think he's a little OP sometimes when it's just like bringing out an AL12 with one sack is, as much as I like to crap on sack goat, I think Pumpkin Man is also a better sack goat. So gotta always keep
sack goat.
keep it going on the sack goat for the creature.
Oh, absolutely. He's also I own 3 of them now, so.
Nah, exactly. How about for you, Tyler? How do you feel about the league?
Well, it should be good. I haven't played a game yet. I'm playing Jeremy. I don't know. I messaged him earlier, but he didn't message back, so I was hoping to get the game in after the podcast, but I'll have to figure out a different one. But I don't know. I haven't played Ward in quite a while, so I'm probably just gonna throw a bunch of legendaries and epics into a deck, and hey, there we go.
Yeah,
Probably just throw a bunch of legendaries together, and I don't know. Probably start off with the maniac and throw a deck together and see what I can do. So hopefully Billy.
Yeah.
Once he gets back from whatever he's doing, maybe he can throw the promos, the Halloween promos onto Untap, so then people could use them for the Fall League, which would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I guess we haven't talked about those yet, but we'll get to those later in the podcast. But
yeah,
that'd be cool.
Subject I just
there
pulled,
he is.
So.
There he is.
No, and like you were saying, Tyler. I do want to get your guys' take. I mean, the first league that we did, we had it where there was a lot of normal games. This time around, there's just this first week is normal games, just to kind of let people who haven't got a lot of experience playing Ward in general are able to play with normal decks. But me and Billy talked about it's like we wanted to try to throw in a lot of more of these formats and things. So there is just like Gen 1 only, Gen 2 only. There's he kind of posted all those. So I was kind of curious, how do you guys feel? Do you like doing like the different formats and the fun things, or would you rather have it kind of just be standardized to like just play normal Ward?
You guys probably see me shaking my head. It's because the Vikings just threw an interception, so I apologize. But yeah, sorry, what was the question again, Harry?
Oh, I was just saying
I'll answer first.
Yeah, you go.
Well, I'll just cover it again. Yeah, I was just saying that. How do you guys feel like either having just be like the league be like standardized to like just normal Ward, or having different formats like the way that Billy kind of structured this fall league?
I mean, I think that there's definitely. I was taking a look through some of the formats earlier, and I feel like there's better and worse formats. Like one of the formats I really like was the tribal one, or which I believe, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, creatures that you use in a deck must be from the same creature type. Which I enjoy that a lot more necessarily than something like restricted to Gen 1 or restricted to Gen 2, because you're trying to do Gen 2 only. Let's play some crackbacks.
Yeah.
I love crackbacks. And I feel like, the decks themselves, if you're trying to like build something super cool, it is a lot harder to do that between just Gen 1 and Gen 2. So, a lot more of the thematic ones, like only creatures from one type, stuff like that. And I think there's even talk about doing like an undead and only one for Halloween. No holy water, obviously. Is a lot more fun than just Gen 1, Gen 2, stuff like that. Or this is always interesting to see. I know we did this the last league, but the like no promo cards or no limited or banning the whole limited list.
Yep.
I mean, that definitely does like shake it up a little bit, but I think it takes a little bit out of some of the fun of it, because then everybody still just tries to build the best deck without including the best cards. So plus, it takes away Psychic Toad, which is unfortunate.
I do actually think like a fun. Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at the cards enough, but I think a fun format. Obviously, you'd need probably more like veteran Ward players, but it would be to take 50 cards from each generation and throw that into a pool of cards and just do like a season of that or something. Could be interesting, or a couple weeks or something.
So would you say
you'd need to I don't know. It would be a lot harder than just being like 50 from Gen 1, 50 from Gen, like 1 to 50 from Gen 1, 51 to like 100. I think that would be interesting, but I think it would be cooler if you like handpicked 50 cards, and obviously it would take. I think like a group of us four kind of thing would have to look at it and take to try and make something that would be cool. But I think something like that could be cool. It just takes a lot of setup and a little bit of work to do.
No, I hear you, but I mean, it kind of falls in that vein of like still kind of like a little bit of standard play, like you said. It doesn't change too much of the rules. Where it's like obviously there's average Joe format, like we were talking about.
Well, I think it. That's why I mean you can hand pick it, so I think it does change it because you don't have to pick Holy Light or Visitor. Like you don't have to pick the best cards from each set. Like it could be just a weird pool of cards that it's like some legendaries. Like I don't know.
First
like I
law.
said,
First law.
Yeah, you could put the first law in there, and then you could make that the best legendary that you put in the set. Like I don't know,
The only
just
legendary,
things like
right? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, and I kind of I like where your head's at, like you said it. I do think you hit it right on the head at the start, though. It's like, oh yeah, obviously for people that have played a lot, that would be a good format for a league for a lot of, like you said, veteran players of Ward. And obviously, I would say that right now our league is kind of catered more to just let's try to get as many people in as we can that don't have that access to the game. So it's like, yeah, obviously, further down, if we have more leagues going on at the same time, it's like I would love to have a veteran league that's like on the top end. And speaking with,
I feel like at my position on this podcast in the league is like the pro level, like at all times.
Right, the
That's
higher
just
level.
how I usually like to think about the
playing
game.
in the league
So.
right now are people
Of
who have
course,
been
but-
around the game a lot
Yeah.
more.
I can also understand that, yeah, when you're trying to get newer players to come in and join this thing, you obviously don't want, something that makes it weird or they have to learn the game in a weird way. So
Yeah,
I get it.
And I think Adam kind of touched like Gen 1, Gen 2 only, where it's just like the reason me and Billy kind of talked about is like, a lot of these people didn't ever get to experience those forms of Ward. And I think it just maybe gives them a little taste of like, this is what the game was without these cards. This is what the game was with just these cards, And so it's like, I do know, like, at least that's kind of where our mindset came from. Billy brought up the tribal, Adam, which I thought was like a great idea. I do get a little worried though that I think, humanoid and like beast. It's like there are a couple tribal groups that are, yeah, exactly. There are a couple tribal groups that are just got a lot of things built into them where it's like they have a wide range where it's like if I just do dinos, it's like, okay, all I have is dinosaurs to work with. It's like if I just, which again, if you want to challenge yourself to it or whatever, it's like it's always a fun way to play.
My Steam Deck could operate almost entirely because I just use Steam creatures, and then it's the same. I won't be playing Steam for that one. I hope nobody plays Steam for that one.
Well,
it's
it's funny you say Steam though,
the deck
because it's like
change.
it's like I know a lot of people clump in like entry and stuff into Steam, but it's like I don't even think that would kind of class. I don't even think you could play like entry. You'd have to play just the Steam, right? Because they're like their own subclass, like that's their own type as it is. It's like Steam Spider, Steam Wolf, Steam Rex, is all that. So yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I have an entry sitting around here somewhere. $50 cards laying all over my desk.
He's ready to show off all of his stuff. All right, we got you, Adam. But anyway, that's just kind of the gist of the fall league. I'm hoping, like you said, Billy really, we really wanted to push those like different formats just to kind of let people, like you said, if people are in, playing a lot of standard, it's like here are some other ways you could play Ward, and I think you guys will have fun with it. Pushing even like you said, Tyler, the veterans' brains of like this is a different way to look at Ward. It's not just the standard format, and see what you can do and how you can maximize and find like the best cards for those different formats. I think is kind of where we were at too. But yeah, overall that's where I am with the league. I can't wait to hear how your first guys games go. We'll definitely probably cover that in the next week too for everybody. But we are going to move forward. As Tyler did allude, we do have some new promo cards that have just been announced a couple days ago, and these are the Halloween edition promo cards. And they did a little bit different. I mean, before this, their promo cards.
Do you know if they're on the website yet?
On Discord? Yeah, they did. Oh, on the website. I don't know if they're actually on the website. You could check, but I do know that they posted the whole thing in Discord and Facebook and stuff.
Is it in the Ward chat on Discord?
Yeah, it is in the Ward chat. Yeah, you can pull it from there. I have a picture up there, but everybody's favorite.
Oh yeah, just for showing
Yep,
the stream.
just for the art and stuff. But either way, what I was kind of saying is for these promo cards is before promo cards were all their own unique cards that never existed before, and this is the first time that it feels like Ward has taken cards that have already exist in the game and just kind of put a new, alternate artwork on it, but also made them a promo level of card and not just their rarity. So it is kind of interesting. They did a bunch of like, I know, Raccoon, Knight, Maniac, Wizard, Entry are all at the top, and then obviously the way they went about the whole system is kind of cool too. But I want to let you guys kind of give your takes on that, of how you feel about these Halloween promo cards and just kind of what your thoughts are. Adam, if you want to go.
Absolutely. My first TCG, I'll be the first one to admit I am not always the biggest fan, and I'm trying to learn more when it comes to, different art variations, foil shiny cards, all that stuff, They're not my biggest jam unless something really speaks to me. It's a different art style, some of them do definitely look very interesting. I'll probably get them. As I say that, I'm not the biggest fan of alternative artworks. If there was like my favorite card, that if Psychic Toad got its own art variation, yeah, probably. But yeah, it's always super cool, definitely, to have more unique variations of cards. Because when you look at other TCGs, they all have 100 variations of the same card. So I would prefer that they don't try to keep it. This is something I've talked with Tyler about before. Magic has 27,000 unique cards, but when you take into account different variations on alternative artworks and stuff like that, it's almost over 1 million. And I think they should, if they are going to do variations on the artwork, I would prefer not to see, you've brought up Entry, not having, like 5 years from now, 7 different versions of Entry floating around. Especially if they're going to keep them promo, because me and you were talking earlier about, am I allowed to only use one? Because promos are inherently limited. Is this still classified as Entry where I could run 3 of them, or is this I'm only allowed 1 Halloween promo, but then I can still play 3 more, because when you change the rarity status and technically change the card, it's still an alternative art. But like, are they limited or not? And so that was something I talked with you about earlier, which I'd love to hear from them on that. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a ruling, but since, like you said, they're promos and they're not their rarity, and so it's like, are these actually these cards? And it's like, maybe you can run that copy in your deck too. It's like, all right, now I have 4 copies.
Absolutely, pick up all of them then.
Yeah, four copies of a card. Tyler wouldn't mind having 4 Maniacs in his deck, I'm sure.
That's exactly what I'm scared of. The 4 Maniac deck.
That would be so good. 400 HP.
How about you, Tyler? How are your feelings on these Halloween promo cards?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for just like any alt art or anything like that. I think it's cool. I do agree with Adam. I don't know about the whole ruling thing. I think it's just like the same, but I also could understand if from someone that I could also understand, like, if you, like Adam's first TCG, like that might not be just common knowledge. Like, I've obviously played 5-6 different TCGs other than Ward before this, so it's like, I just kind of like, this is how it works in the other card game, which isn't how it always does with this, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm a sucker when it comes for alt art, especially when they make a card with like a Maniac, where it's like one of my favorite cards in the entire game. It'll be interesting to see. Like, I wouldn't consider any of the promos in this like release like you need to have this, because like, I don't know, the best legendary in it is an Entry, and it's like, imagine you put Holy Light as the last one. Like, I don't know. I could understand the alt arts, and yes, Entry is the easiest to fit into an alt art, especially for Halloween, but I also understand that some people, like, I don't care about the Entry, like I'm not gonna lie, I like the alt art, I think it's cool, but I'm not going to spend, if you put a Holy Light, or if you put an Assassin, or if you put, I understand that you might be losing money on this card because you're like giving $100 card away for free. Well, not free, but you get what I mean.
they've said they don't care about aftermarket prices though, and it's like, honestly speaking, something like Holy Light, Assassin, Raccoon Knight, put a pumpkin on his head, make it a jack-o'-lantern.
Any one of
call it a
those,
day.
you instantly would have made 220 off of
Instantly.
every single competitive
Yeah.
war player. Instantly.
No.
Instantaneously.
Instantly, and I think.
And
sorry
I
to cut
obviously,
you off there, Harry.
well, they're not going in it for the money. I understand that.
Yeah, I do find too with promos. I mean, if you do look at overall, I mean, I like to always take like the whole picture. It's like they usually do have been, at least for now, doing mostly creatures. I mean, I know we have boss promos that had magic cards, but it's like besides the boss promos, I think other than that, it's like it's all just been creature cards for these promo cards, and it's kind of interesting. At least a thought that I just had in my head is like, we did these Halloween promos, and then by the end of the next year or the beginning of next year is probably going to be Gen 3. It's like that's a lot of promos, to have for like, if they're going to do like, the normal 5 promos that they do with every generation, plus like now they just had these promos made. It's like that. I don't know. There's a lot of promos rolling around now where it's just like, that was a big release. I was not expecting them to have, I don't know, what is it, like 7 promo cards in this, this little like Halloween special. And it's just like, it is kind of a lot
like
of cards.
12.
Yeah, it's a lot of cards, so it's like it is kind of a crazy amount of promos that they are.
Yeah, there's 11.
And again, it's not like you're getting it's all artwork, right? It's like, especially for these promos, it's not like you're getting a Scarlet or something different. You're getting cards that you do basically have. Most players, I would say, have all of these cards, if and so it's like, I wouldn't say it's like the greatest value for everybody who's like, oh, I've already played the game and I already have all the cards. But obviously new players, if like you said, or people who just really like the artwork, it's like, yeah, this is a great deal. Maybe there is somebody who's just missing an entry or needs an entry. I mean, I'll be first to admit it. That was one of the cards that it took me a while to get a hold of for Gen 1. And so it's like, I could see people that are just spending the $250 just to get that entry, just to have it.
But also,
220.
Sorry for cutting you off there, but me and Tyler have talked about this. I know it's kind of a big gripe of his. One of the things I like that Ward is doing, because he's explained this to me before, is this isn't just an alternative art where they're saying $220, get these 12 cards. When you are spending $220 buying the merch, or not merch, excuse me, buying the product that we are already buying. You're going to get almost 2 boxes. You're probably going to get 12 starter packs, hundreds of cards, and then these are just a toss-in with it. So it's not just going to be, oh, I have to spend $200 on, these 12 or 11 cards or whatnot. It's going to be, hey, you're going to get hundreds of other cards, and that's probably part of the reason I'll do it, is because I haven't bought cards in a week. So
I love that. That was good.
Gen 3 release event, it goes hard.
Yeah, no. Like you
I
said,
mean, I do. But it's a little bit of a teaser. Well, never mind. I won't shout this out yet because I still have to ask John. But also, Jesus, my camera. What is happening?
It's all good.
Sorry,
I thought you were
continue.
in the Halloween mood.
Yeah, I know. I was
Yeah.
about to say, Tyler's making it spooky. If you can watch, if you're watching, you're
No.
listening.
I'm just waiting for something to come up behind you, Tyler.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on your camera.
I'm waiting for the Vikings to score a touchdown and Tyler go crazy over there. That's what I'm waiting for.
The game's
All
over.
of Minnesota is waiting for Vikings to ever score a touchdown.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway.
We're pretty good at kicking field goals, but anyways.
Anyway, but yeah, no, I think when it comes to promos, especially just like this way that they're going about it, it doesn't, you're right. It's like, if they want to keep making promos of cards that they've already kind of released, and this is a way that they want to have these alternate artworks, it doesn't really affect me personally. Like, in my honest opinions, like, I actually like that. It's like, I'm sure there's tons of cards. I would say they should probably pick the cards that are people's kind of fan favorites, just so that like you said, that seems the most obvious. It's like, maybe not make the card that not a lot of people care or think about, but make cards that it's like, oh yeah, a lot of people like Raccoon, a lot of people like Raccoon Knight, a lot of, it's like there are these staple cards that we know about. A lot of people like birds, like Elkanos, that definitely could have an alternate.
Yeah. That's what we all need in our life.
But either way, like you said, I have no problem with them making the promos. I, as much as I do like getting new cards that are promos, I think that this is an awesome alternative to kind of
I do want to do a little shout out though here quick. So one of the cool things about these promos is that they change the They're not high-res images though, so I can't zoom in and read them. Maybe I can.
But like you're saying, they changed their card text on them.
Yeah, so basically they changed their card text, and in two of the cards, specifically Raccoon and then Maniac, Raccoon is shouting out the Raccoon Enjoyer in the Discord.
Mhm.
So, I mean, pretty cool. You know, he's just a Discord guy. I don't know if any of us have actually ever met him, but he is now in a promo card with his text.
Mhm.
And then the Maniac.
Do you want to
as
kind of give
well,
a reason why he is in the card text? Because I think he's kind of infamous for it.
So the Raccoon guy, he's basically the Raccoon Enjoyer. His name's Nick, and he basically wants every single copy of Raccoon, the common card that he can, because he just enjoys raccoons. So
yeah,
because of that, and he's very known across the Discord, you know, as everyone, whenever he trades with people, he'll often ask you to throw in one raccoon or a couple of raccoons, just
we're all
'cause he loves them.
raccoons.
He has spawned a movement though, because there are other people that call themselves, because some people call themselves like the Raccoon Knight enthusiasts as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's the Raccoon Knight Squire has joined as well, because he
Oh,
has
yeah.
followed in the footsteps of others. There's a lot of people that like Raccoon.
No, and like you said, I mean, he kind of just made it a big thing. Like he made he kind of had all the memes, all these raccoon, theme things, and people just kind of, like you said, bought onto it. And it's really cool, like you said, back to the promos, how the ward staff is acknowledging these people in the community. I mean, I'm sure Tyler will get to it next. Maybe me or Adam should be the one to talk about it. But Maniac, Tyler took this card and basically made him the card he is today, where he is, literally had to get his card text changed, his ability, the way a whole function of ward works, because of how powerful Tyler made this card feel. So it's like Tyler is also somebody who is put in on one of these cards. So he will forever be in the annals of ward history. And the beautiful Maniac card that I have put on the screen right now too is just a testament of that. And like you said, it's kind of cool that the ward staff does this with the community. It's like it feels like they want that community aspect to be a part of it.
Well, it almost adds like a story to the card in, right? It's like they created the Raccoon, they created the Maniac as ward cards, and throughout the community and people playing the game, those cards had stories created behind them. And then, for them to make a promo and then be like, hey, we want to shout out people of the community that have made a change or done something cool, and we're going to kind of shout you out into a card that you obviously like. It feels really cool. And obviously there isn't any other TCG that, I can't do that for Magic or Lorcana or any of the other games.
Like you said,
that's one of the coolest parts.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like you were saying, it's like other trading card games, I feel like they don't really interact with their community in that way, right? They don't give them that kind of respect, or like give them that kind of like, shout out of like, hey, like these are the people that are propping up our game. It's like, we should be giving back and being, interacting with them. And so it's like you said, at the end of the day, I think that is probably one of the coolest things. And that is obviously one of the reasons I really want to get this Maniac card, because you know what, my buddy, he's on the card and I get to have that forever. So it's like, yeah, I think it is a really cool aspect to it. But either way, I think we should transition to promos. Like I said, I really do like the $20, buying, like Adam was saying, buying, product that we're already going to buy in general. And so why not just throw in some extra things to have people, incentivize them to be like, here, just buy more, buy as much as you can. And
yeah, because I just remember in the past when, like, I don't know if it was I don't know. There was one time in the past where they've done a similar thing where it was like, oh, spend this much, and then it might have been like for the Aqua Dragon, where it's like, oh, spend $50 to pre-order the new gen, get an Aqua Dragon, and people were kind of upset about it, being like, oh, like why would I pay this much for this card? And what Adam brought up, like, you're not buying the card. You're spending money on the game that you would already be spending, and then getting something for free.
Mm-hmm.
You would, like, if you were to spend $220 before these promos came out and bought ward, you would not feel bad about that purchase, because you want the ward cards, you get the ward cards. So now when this event comes or whatever, or the promos, you now spend the same amount, you get all of the same cards you were going to get, and now you get more.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know, you can't really complain about it. You're not, like, I don't know.
Well, I think
not
the
buying the
you just
card.
you can't really complain about it.
Well, and just to top it off, it's like I think they also enhanced it from when they did Aqua Dragon, because Aqua Dragon was like, oh, you can only get one, or whatever, or it was like one per. They did one per purchase, so then like people were like, oh, I'm gonna do multiple purchases.
Yeah,
or
you'd have
whatever.
to do 3 separate $50
but for this,
purchases,
it's kind of right. For this one, they kind of enhanced it in my opinion of like, okay, now it just rolls over. If you go past that amount of the 220, anything further, it's like every 20, you're just gonna get that another copy of those cards again. So it's like I don't know, I don't see anywhere where it's like it's like it doesn't feel flawed at all in my opinion. I feel like it's all pretty well laid out, and they did a really good job with it. But yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I think we covered the promos pretty well. Moving forward, we are going to kind of cover some more Gen 3 things. There were some cards that I feel like we might have missed out on Gen 3. And, since we have this platform, we're going to talk. And we have Adam on here, VictorApex. He's going to have some cards, I'm sure, of his own that he'd like to discuss. And Tyler and me, I'm sure, I have some other cards that we still wanted to talk about. Because, like I said, 150 cards. I don't think 1 hour of a podcast we could get through as much as we wanted to. And I'm sure no one here in the community is going to be upset about having to talk more about Gen 3 cards. And so obviously, we'll probably try to tie them a little bit to Gen 1 and Gen 2 cards that already exist, just to kind of give people like, here, maybe this is like where the game is headed forward to as well. But Adam, let you take the floor. I don't know if you want to talk about your favorite kind of cards in the Gen 3.
So one of the cards that I really liked, because I really like the burn cards, which everybody absolutely loves no matter what, is one of the new field destruction spells that exists. It's called Chain Lightning. The way that it works is you deal 10 damage to your own creature, and you destroy every magic card on the field. For every magic card on the field, you deal 10 damage to your opponent's creature. I really like this one because, as I said, I like playing Steam and burn decks. And to me, this is a much better card to play than something like Twister. Because Twister's great and all, but it does give your opponents card advantage back. This one is, its theoretical limits are very high, which, of course, oh my god, this card could do 100 damage. Yeah, if both you and your opponent have committed 5 cards to the field, then this could do that. But when you guys are playing Ward, for everybody at home, like, for the most part, I would say the most magic cards I ever really see on a field are probably like 4, maybe, between both sides.
4 and 6, probably.
6, maybe.
Yeah.
You're not really going to see anything. And even 6, I've seen very rarely. If both of you are playing like equip decks, then yeah, maybe you might have a Foggy Knight and each have 2 or 3 pieces of equipment on, a Revival Priest out there, stuff like that. But like for the most part in this game, it's very fast paced, and your magic cards are come and go. So I don't think it's an overtly broken combination, but I definitely think it fits a very interesting niche of like, here's another way you can deal damage to your opponent, especially if they try to overextend. Because I think it'll also be a lot of fun in crack packs. Because in crack packs, a lot of the time, you'll end up stuck with a lot of cards left on the field, and your opponent, a lot of the time, the ending strategy is usually strongest creature, 5 pieces of equipment on them, right? And now, when we play crack packs for Gen 3, you're going to have to think, well, shit, does this guy have a Chain Lightning? And
I think it's only a rare, too, right?
I can't speak personally for the rarity, but that kind of sounds about right. It's either a rare or an epic. It's not a legendary or an uncommon. But that was one of the cards I thought was really interesting, and I'll let each one of you guys say one too. But
like you said, I think like you were saying, I think it's a pretty powerful card, right? It's a board wipe, so it's like there aren't many cards in the game that can just wipe all the magic off the board, and so it's like just inherently in that effect alone, without even adding the burn in, I think it's definitely a card to consider. Like you said, it probably matches close to Twister, and Twister is obviously, the whole card advantage added onto it, so it's like another version of like board destruction that doesn't have, too much inherent value for your opponent, and with the whole burn mechanic built into it, I think is definitely a very powerful card. So it's like, yeah, I think going forward, it'll definitely be a card to kind of think about and see how people, utilize it. Like you said, I don't think it's inherently overpowered in any sense. I think there are a lot of ways to kind of like negate damage in the game. It's like the nice thing is I think a lot of people like to play like Ghost Form and like these damage prevention cards, and I think a card like that like can really totally just catch them off guard. Like you said, they're just like, oh yeah, here, let me load up all of these things. I'm going to put Ghost Form, I'm going to put Metallic Bone, I'm going to put whatever, something to stop you from doing damage to me. And it's just like, oh, nope, now this card just, you putting those cards on your field is actually more detrimental to you because I can potentially just wipe all that off and do the damage to you too, which I think is kind of cool. So yeah. How do you feel about that card, Tyler?
It's pretty good. I don't know. I personally probably won't be using it that often, but probably be used by a lot of people. Yeah.
No, fair enough. Adam, I meant there is a couple other burn cards in the Gen 3, right? That maybe we could cover. I don't know if you and Tyler. Like I said, I wasn't able to participate too much. I just kind of.
There's two more notable options I really want to say. One of them being Magic Sword. It's a very interesting card. It basically, the way it works is when you initiate battle, it's a flash card. So at the start of the battle step, you play this card and you deal 5 damage to your opponent for every card that they have in your hand. And it's very interesting because it's got, low floor, high ceiling, kind of very similar to Chain Lightning. And, I like it, but I don't like it, but I like it. Because, a lot of the time, maintaining your cards in your hand is a big thing, right? You never want to be sitting there caught off guard with 1 or 2 cards in your hand, having to sack out your creatures. It's always a problem. But, especially once you get up to like 6, 7, 8 cards with this one, your opponent being able to play it at the start of the battle step and then battle moving forward, being able to deal 30, 35, 40 damage is, that's kind of a scary thing that most people probably don't want to deal with.
Oh, yeah. No.
Tyler?
I was just laughing 6 or 7, But
trying to reach the youth audience.
Yeah, trying. But one card, the burn cards, whatever. I hate burn. I don't like playing burn.
Love it.
Oh, and that's fun.
Well, I just think it goes in. Oh, sorry, go.
I don't know. That card will be interesting. I'm a person that often has 8 cards in my hand, so.
One comment I'll make on it. We've discussed before about how sometimes burn. One of the problems with it, and I've done it before. You guys have seen me do it before. Killing like 2 to 3 creatures in one turn. This card, I think, is you can only play it once per, or you can only really play it once because once the creature dies, the battle ends, and then you can't play it again that same turn. So if you had 3 copies, it's not like I can just go, hey, Twister, 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 Frog of Fortune, Twister. You have 20 cards in your fucking hand right now. I play this. Boom, take 100. Boom, take 100. Boom, take 100. Oh,
what happens if your creature has double hit?
We would actually probably have to ask them because that allows your creature to initiate battle twice. Does that count as 2 independent battle phases?
Now if you have Cabal War Chief and you do double hit, do you get to play it 3 times in one turn? And now we broke the card.
Well, that's the thing, and like Adam is kind of alluding to, though, it is a very powerful mechanic. I mean, I will say in most other games, I mean, obviously they don't always revolve around like battle in a cemetery, but the fact that in Ward you can burn damage, kill a creature, and then still continue your turn to go to battle to potentially kill another creature, I think you can't ever like understate how powerful those cards are, right? It's like, as silly as we just brought up this kind of, very convoluted, like, oh, if you had the War Chief and you attack, because, right, like you were saying, Adam, this card is an equip card and it's when you attack, depending on how many cards the opponent has.
An equip.
Okay, so it's not an equip. So you could just play this at the beginning of your turn. So you could, in theory.
You play
it's a flash,
when
though.
Battle is initiated. So you can't play it at the start. So when battle is initiated, play this card, deal X 5 damage.
For each card in their hand.
So that means if you put 20 cards in their hand, you could do it 100 damage 3 times.
Yep, and as you guys,
if I guess you somehow had, we would have to ask them about that. But I mean, what's the difference between playing double backstab and then double hit on your Cabal War Chief, and then you're just dealing 100, 100, 100?
So like in theory, though,
cards.
I just want to make sure.
Cooler.
Oh yeah, I just want to make sure that the card like makes sense. It's like, so when you go to combat, you play that card, it kills that creature, but then that doesn't end combat, or does it should end that
No,
combat?
that ends that combat.
Okay,
It
so
ends
then
that
even if
combat.
you're doing double hit, it's like it will end that combat, so you won't get to like do another swing on another
Well,
creature.
no,
but then when
yeah,
that
'cause
next
the-
creature would come in,
yeah,
then,
you would.
Because you get to
Because
initiate battle
double
twice.
hit is just lets you battle twice. So if you battle in, kill the creature, you can kill another creature. You found that out the hard way.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying you can't
Yeah.
burn, you
Tyler,
can't burn
thank you.
kill a
Put
creature,
double hit
then
on
do
my
an attack
creatures.
that same battle. So you still only get the 2 battles, but the burn damage would just instantly kill 2 100 HP creatures if you put enough cards in your opponent's hand. Is kind of
Yeah, because what would happen is you would play double hit. The battle would get initiated. You'd burn them for 100. The creature would die. The battle would end. You'd initiate the battle a second time. Play this card. Burn them for another other card. The battle would end. They'd
Another
have to summon a
100.
new creature.
Yeah.
Once
Okay.
again, this does. You need to put 20 cards in your opponent's hand, and
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
okay,
It's easier. It's easier said than done, though, Adam, and especially since the card that puts cards in your opponent's hand also like you can ramp with it. It's like it is. I don't know. It's not a terrible idea, and I'm sure Tyler.
You see,
funny.
Adam, when you're asking, you're like, why would you do this if you could just do? You see, I could just put 300 in your cemetery anyway, but why wouldn't I want to dump a dragon in there?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you see.
Exactly.
See, Tyler's just an evil mastermind who likes to sit in the corner and think of the ways. See, the way I think Tyler plans out how to play cards is he sits there and he goes, "What would make me the most fucking miserable to have my opponent play against?" And
yeah,
then he sits there and he's like,
but-
"That's it."
But you need
That's
the
Chris.
card
you
right
need that
there.
guy. But you need that guy because that's the guy, like you said, he'll push the game to a point where it's like, here, this is things that we might need to address, right? This card.
No, I'm the guy that finds the most convoluted way to win, and then I make that. I try to make that efficient as possible.
But like it is quite literally, what is the difference between doing the give them 20
There's not.
cards and the
There's
thing
not.
and double hit backstab on Cabal War Chief?
Yeah,
That's
but you
actually
guys-
just
Yeah,
a
what?
three-card
What?
card.
you guys
one
are
of them
missing-
you haven't seen before.
But you guys are
This one is
missing.
Twister, Frog
Frog
of
of
Fortune,
Fortune,
Twister,
Twister.
Frog of Fortune, Twister.
But the worst
Double
part
hit.
about it is, Adam, all
Cabal
that
War Chief somehow.
Adam, all that happens to you, right? He kills all your creatures, and then even if you manage to survive, you still have to go to your turn and then discard like 10 more cards off out of your hand too, because he's just I don't know. Everybody already knows I've given my take on how drawing and ward is, and I think the ward staff too, because I mean as Gen 3 goes, there isn't any like draw power cards, I believe, right?
No,
That
none.
No,
So
there's
yeah,
not a
so it's
single
like I think
draw.
they're also kind of becoming on that page of like we don't need draw power cards. So yeah,
If they give you an inch, take a mile.
no, 100%. So Adam, you said there was one more burn card. Did you want to cover that one too? And maybe we
It's
can
not
talk
really
about it?
burn, but it's just one I like to talk about. You guys talked about it a little bit, and we've been talking about the actual just one-shot combo on anything, which is Reflect, which Reflect is a new card, which essentially the way that it works is any magic card that would target this creature is instead reflected back and targets your opponent. I should explain what the damage card is first. It's very basic. You initiate combat and your opponent attacks themselves and you don't get an attack. It's great. I like it. It's definitely useful for some of the decks that have a little bit of trouble. Like if your opponent has a creator and you have a little bit of trouble dealing with a 10+10 creature, it's like, okay, well, you're just going to hit yourself for 10+10. Super cool. But the way the combo works is play Reflect so that you can, any magic card that targets yourself, targets your opponent. There's a card called Doppelganger. Doppelganger is really fun because all it does is it's a card you have to play on your creature, which is where Reflect comes in. You play it on your creature, you half your health. So say you had 100 health, you half yourself down to 50, and you give yourself a +50 modifier then. So the one-shot combo is you play Reflect on yourself, and then Doppelganger on yourself. So the Doppelganger gets reflected over to your opponent, and then you play Possession on them, which Possession causes that creature to attack themselves, and that creature is now hitting themselves with a modifier that is equal to half of their health, which has already been halved. So if they hit themselves, it's a guaranteed kill. And this is the combination I came up with because, like Tyler, I also like seeing people kind of be miserable sometimes because I think you bring out your 150 HP creator and I'm like 1, 2, 3 cards and your creator just dies. Hilarious. peak tier gameplay.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, it's nice to have these, combos. Like, it's not too crazy. I mean, I'm sure probably the craziest card in that combo is Reflect. And I'm curious if you guys, during the playtesting, had a lot of different results with that card, because I'm pretty sure they're definitely going to have to take
I
a look
didn't
at that
play
card
with
to see
Reflect.
how they're going to rule a lot of those rulings for how
Or
bouncing effects.
you just have to look at any card that says it can only target this thing, and then you go, oh, but what if it doesn't do that?
Like,
Indeed.
legitimately, what happens if, your creature has 50 out of 100 health? I play Epic Loot on my creature with a Reflect and then Poison Potion?
And then fully kill a
Yeah.
creature. Yeah, I don't. Hey, but that's the thing, is like, I feel like that card is probably it's going to be one of those cards where there's going to be tons of rulings and tons of people. That's going to be one of those problematic cards. I think where they're just going to get so many questions
we've
about
been-
like, how does this work? How does this work? How does this work? And I don't know. It's like, sounds like a little bit of a headache to me. But
We didn't play test it really, but as soon as we saw it, Tyler immediately turned and looked at me and says, "I feel like we're gonna do something stupid with this," and I was like, "Yeah, I agree." And it took some brainstorming because a magic card where the next thing that targets your creature targets your opponent. It sounds simple, and one of the things that has been great with you guys introducing me to TCGs is, yeah, that sounds simple. What's wrong with that? But now
Yeah.
I look at that and I'm like, there's something fucking stupid we can do with this. And
Yeah, there's certain things in card games where you read a text or you read a line, like Black Fist Fighter, for example. His effect is basically he attacks, and as long as he hits and does less than 5 damage, he attacks, he attacks again. What the one line of text that breaks this combo is, this effect can repeat. When something says that, you go, how do I repeat it infinitely?
right.
There's usually a way.
Mm-hmm.
we figured out ways to just
Yeah.
be like, oh,
And
my
there is a
creature
way
gets
to
to
do it.
attack for 2 damage infinitely.
Well, and just
'cause, cat cow.
Yeah.
And just to come back to that card, though, Reflect, like you said, I think the worst thing, like Tyler likes to bring this up a lot, it's like every new card you introduce to the game from here on out with that card in the game, it's like you have to balance around that. You're going to have to think about that. And it's just like, I don't know. I just find cards like that, it's like that's just going to be a headache for all those kind of reasons. And so it's like, yeah.
It's got some additional text on it, and if I'm speaking from memory, and I didn't get to play too much with the card, but I think all it says is like, if the magic card cannot immediately take effect, it is just like negated, and this card goes away as well. So I don't know if they were trying to like think through with like maybe like stuff like revival, like what happens with revival priest if that happens, right? Because could you imagine playing reflect?
So Revival Priest targets a creature in the cemetery. It doesn't actually equip to your creature.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But then that
But
would
like you
be
said,
you're still affected by a magic card though.
Yeah, but what would happen is you would bounce. Yeah, but what would happen is you'd bounce that creature back to your hand. Then Reflect would go to the cemetery, and then you would Revival Priest the creature that comes out from. So it would kind of
Hold
just.
on here, because Revival Priest technically also targets the creature that's on the field because you can't bounce steam creatures, right?
Yes, but it's I don't know. It's the effect.
No, you can bounce
Magic card.
you can bounce steam creatures.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
not with Revival
No,
Priest.
you just can't revival priest them out of the cemetery, because if you do that, then they come out.
And this is a conversation I've had with them because I've wanted to be able to do this. Because steam creatures cannot be bounced because they cannot be affected by magic cards, and part of Revival Priest's effect is that you bounce your current primary creature. So you're actually not able to bounce a steam creature. So I mean, like, something dumb because, you target something, and this is how something I'm thinking now. You guys can yell at me for being wrong. That's fine. But say, I target a creature in my cemetery, right? With Revival Priest. It bounces it to my field and bounces my creature to my hand. But my creature has Reflect on it. Technically, the effect it's being targeted with is being bounced back to my hand.
Well,
So now your opponent
technically, if it
bounces back.
technically, if we're really doing this, like the Revival Priest would come out, it would equip to your creature, and it would bounce their creature back to their hand, which means they would need to summon a new creature, which would be terrible.
That would be so
You don't want to
funny,
do
though.
that.
Just a terrifying roar. It's just a terrifying roar.
It's just a more complex. What would happen to your creature, though? Your primary creature.
Whatever. We'll let them figure it out. The card isn't
Well,
made yet.
yeah.
Let's
Maybe
not
you're
let's not
together
destroy
now.
our brain
You're
on
holding
it.
The
hands.
extended text.
All
The
right.
extended
you're holding
text would probably
hands.
be like
Another-
yeah,
No,
Another-
it would be like the revival priest fails and then it kills your creature and you lose.
Yeah.
but it still bounces your opponent's creature.
You know,
Yeah.
the ward staff would put that on some kind of combo thing that just they're just like, yo, this just makes you lose the game. That's kind of funny.
Flip
No.
a coin. If it lands on like straight up and down, you lose.
You just lose. Yeah, if the coin lands
lose.
vertical.
Yeah,
in
you
it.
just lose. And then I play a card where I get to flip a coin, but I reflect it back to you, and then I take the coin and flip it on purpose. So yeah,
We'll see how reflect works.
And then you play
there's some
Hourglass of Time.
combinations of things we haven't.
and then it
even
reverses,
thought about.
and then because reflect is on, the hourglass actually reverses time itself instead of in the game. And you're just like,
Yeah,
That's what
damn,
causes the universe.
they really
to-
didn't think. They really didn't think about this
All
card.
All right. Get back on the
Were
rails.
there,
So
Tyler, other than Steam Angel, are there any cards that you think that they didn't think through, or just Black Fist Fighter?
No, I think Steam Angel is probably like, I don't know. That card just, I don't know. I've spoke way too much
we've
on
had
it.
the
I feel
rant
like
on
I
it.
already talked about it.
I didn't know if there was
podcast,
like
too.
anything else that you were like.
No,
thinking about
I
where
don't
you're
think there was
like,
anything else that was like absurd that I looked at and I'm like, okay, that's a little much. But
Yeah. Well, I
I don't know. Most of them are pretty good.
I wanted to cover another group of cards I don't think we like covered too heavily, and I know a lot of people like their negates and their flash cards, and I was kind of curious if you guys had any flash cards that kind of stood out to you from Gen 3 that you were thinking could potentially. I know we covered one of them, I think, in the last episode that sounded pretty powerful. I can't remember if it was the one that negated the damage or if it was you can't play magic cards in return on your next turn. But yeah, there are some crazy flash cards that I think are in this Gen 3 that will replace some of the cards we currently use.
That would be Sasquatch. Sasquatch, when you play this card, negate your opponent's card in addition for one turn cycle, not just the rest of this turn. For one turn cycle, they're not allowed to play flash cards. And I think Tyler probably knows some of them. If not, I do. There's not just, and this is one of the things I'm glad that they introduced, especially with Foggy Night. There's actually a couple different flash equipments now. So, I mean, even something like this would prevent you from playing flash equipment. My cat is eating my blinds.
Yeah, I see that.
Man's having a hard time. But like you were saying, I mean, it is a very powerful flash card. I mean, we haven't had a card in the game yet where it's like can shut down just other negating cards because, like you said, I mean, we think of like Scroll of Silence, right? It's like Scroll of Silence kind of does a similar aspect to that, but it's like this just like totally says, nope, I countered you. If you have no way to stop this on your turn, like now you just don't get to negate anything I do on my turn, right? So it's like, yeah, I think it very, very powerful card.
And
Yeah,
I
you
think
definitely
that's
want to
really-
use it on your opponent's turn.
I agree, because then it basically gives you, we've talked before about how you can use things like Irresistible Love to prevent your opponent from trying to play anything on your turn, and that's the entire reasoning behind it. But yeah, so I
Pick it
think Sasquatch.
Adam, put your cat down. You're worse than Billy. Billy has this whole zoo of animals running around. This cat.
I just have this one little guy, and he's eating my blinds right now, so
Gotcha. But is there any other? I know there was another like negate that we were talking about that basically like makes it so you can't do any more damage on your
Eagle
turn.
Knight.
What card is that?
Eagle Knight. When a creature is going to take damage, play this card. This creature cannot be damaged for the rest of the turn. I think it's a little strong. It's basically like a flash one turn ghost armor.
No burn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. No burn. So it's a little frustrating because I'm about to crash out. Sorry.
No, but like you said, it also just that whole double hit combo, backstabs. Like there's so many things that you can kind of prevent with just this one card, right? It's like we talked about a lot of these one hit combos. It's like this can shut down a lot of things. that could definitely, you know, cause you a lot of problems in a game. So it's like, just hearing these two flash cards alone makes me think that it's like, yeah, these cards are easily going to replace the flash cards that I feel like are kind of being used in the meta in the game at this moment. And I mean, Adam already kind of alluded to it too. There are these equipped, like kind of like Mind Sap, but now they're actually like beneficial equipped cards that you can potentially put on you or your opponent at certain times, that can also very heavily affect what happens in the game. So it's like, I think a lot of these flash cards that are like quick equips, or just like in general, the flash cards are probably going to kind of replace a lot of the cards in the meta at the moment too.
Two of them are, I forget the activation condition.
You're a little quiet, Adam. I'm sorry. You might have to move your...
Yep, sorry.
No, you're good.
One of them is going to be called Ancient Book. When your opponent plays a flash spell, play this spell. And it's pretty good. If I remember correctly, it deals like +5. It gives you +5 AL, increases your damage hit, and a couple other things. And it's just like an all-around buff to your creature. And that one's weird because it's a flash equip, but you can only play it when your opponent plays a flash spell. So that one, it's kind of shitty underneath Foggy Night. And then the second one is Cybernetic Armor, which I think Cybernetic Armor is too strong, in my opinion. Because Cybernetic Armor is when your opponent declares battle, play this card from your hand. It essentially makes your creature like in AL 12, gives you like +10 to hit, and then it gives you a +30 to your modifier. I think the +30 to your modifier is pretty... I played Joe once, and he's like, I play Cybernetic Armor. And I read it, and I was like, oh, so you're just dealing like an extra 30 damage to me this turn when you hit. It doesn't negate the attack, which when he was explaining it to me, he was like, oh, you know, Forest Sentinel, we figured out like some of the average damage with Forest Sentinel can be around 30 damage depending on what you're using, because it negates the attack. Let me get there. Not necessarily get up to 30, but Force Sentinel will reflect the damage and negate any damage to you.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, when you think about some of the more powerful creatures you use, it's not common to see like 20 to 30 damage being dealt per turn. This one is basically just like, I'm going to also hit you for 30, and it's definitely something where it's like, oh, hey, if we have two small critters that are just battling, that's Cybernetic Armor, which is a flat, and it's considered an equip spell, so it is something you can play under Foggy Night.
No, I mean, crazy numbers when you bring up a number like 30, and like when Tyler talks about breaking a game, it's like big numbers like that. I think it doesn't take much before it's like, oh yeah, there's ways to just turn this into a crazy card that, you know, in the right circumstance. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I do think they might need to take a look at that card. Didn't really get to see it in play. I mean, you brought up, you know, that story, but it's just like, I can only imagine, you know, just how much that can catch people off guard of just like, oh yeah, all of a sudden now I'm dealing with this, you know. And it's like,
I mean, now you go back to Cabal War Chief, double hit, cybernetic upgrade.
Yeah,
3 kills, cybernetic upgrades.
Just you do backstab, cybernetic upgrade, Foggy Night.
Yeah,
with double hit. Will
Can't
you
play
live
backstab under Foggy Night?
I already played it.
Either way, though, like you're saying, it is just it feels like, again,
Sasquatch to negate, prevent any more negates. Foggy Night.
Yeah, there we go.
For whatever reason.
But either way, I agree. It's just, again, it's one of those things where we look at Gen 3 and you're just like, is there a card like that you can even compare that card to, like in Gen 1 or Gen 2? No, it's like, I think you can definitely see just like how much, you know, power level of these like cards they're giving, which again, I don't think if you make a bunch of crazy cards, it's like, that doesn't break your game. It's just, as long as there isn't just like, you know, inherent, like this card just isn't too insane, right? It's like, I think they did a pretty good job of keeping them like pretty well like gated in the zone that they need to be in. But I do think, yeah, maybe the numbers might need a little bit of tweaking up and down a little bit. But other than that, it's like, I don't know. None of these things sound like they're like too inherently a problem. Like you said, Adam, that cybernetic armor or that enhancement or whatever the hell the name of the card is.
Cybernetic armor.
It's powerful, but again, you could just negate the damage, right? You could just stop the attack, and it's just like, okay, now that card does nothing, and it's just like, all right, not.
It's something you have to use when your opponent is trying to battle you, and you know, like legitimately speaking, this is a card I feel like doesn't get talked enough, but it's like, oh, you could deal 30 damage. It's like Mimic Chest can probably deal more than that. oh, Mimic Jest negates the attack, which once again, cybernetic armor doesn't negate the attack. If I'm still faster than you, I can still just fully kill you. Like, if you're coming at me with an assassin backstab, this literally does nothing for you. If you're coming at me with Cabal War Chief and backstab Foggy Knight, double hit, Tyler's little combo there.
Woo!
If you're coming at me with that, Cabal War Chief has 120 health, right?
Yeah, 130, I think.
130. Why? Okay, cool. Your attack was plus 30. I'm still faster than you, and I still kill you. And congrats on using this.
Plus 30 is plus 90 with backstab.
I was saying cybernetic armor on if you wanted to use it as a
the other
defense
person.
card, as opposed to something like in that situation, Force Sentinel, better card. Mimic Jest, better card.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Minotaur Bodyguard, better card.
Just because of the inherent, like, you still have to deal with trying to outspeed your opponent, which isn't always easier to do.
There's no attack negation.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. Like you said, it definitely kind of puts a check on that card.
It's better against Steam, because Steam, obviously, you can't negate their attacks, and this is true with Heroism as well.
Low-key, not enough people use Future Soldier.
Wow.
I really like Future Soldier.
We haven't even got there. Irresponsible takes, Tyler. That was a perfect one. We could transition the irresponsible takes as we're winding down the show. Here, Tyler, throw it at us. Future Warrior doesn't get used enough. Did you hear that, Adam? I don't know. Holy heck, that might have been a hot take.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I
don't know.
What?
Because when you want to negate an attack, you don't want to negate just any attack. You want to negate the attack.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Bunny Source's entire ability built into a magic card.
Yeah, true. And it's an equip card.
That's fair. And like you said, it works underneath Steam Angel. I'm at the most busted card in the game. All right. It's a hot take. I think there's a lot of cards. What's that? I just think there's a lot of cards that work.
Yeah, but if I play Ghost Form, it just blows up. If I play Future Soldier, you're like, is it worth my blowing up? And then when I negate an attack, it's like, yeah, probably was.
Yeah.
I think a big card for once all the gens are mixed together is going to be Lead Boots, and for a couple different reasons. Because we've talked a little bit about some sick, nasty combos involving things like Psychic Toad, which we can talk about that one here to end off the show because that one's kind of really dumb.
Yeah, we haven't even covered that one yet in the other episode. I know
but,
we wanted to
Lead
talk
Boots, not only with a lot of the more powerful AO12s we're going to see, prevents them from bouncing, but also with the amount of sack ability that we're getting with like, Soul Eater to use one of your opponent's one. You can use Possessed Dummy to take your opponent's dead creature, make it your own limited summon, and then use Soul Eater on that to then use as a sack, to use Bait to sack. There's a lot more ability to sack out AL12s, which is going to be awesome because I'd love to see more AL12s in gameplay. But if you use Lead Boots, you're preventing your opponent from even using any of these sack ability cards because that card cannot leave the field. And, they have to then use a magic destruction card. And this can also counter the people that really like to use things like Magic Eater instead of anything else because they're like, oh, why would I want to? I guess it's still on my side of the field. But anyway, nonetheless, I think Lead Boots is going to be pretty cool, preventing your opponent from sacking. It can also be used to protect your own AL12s. Pretty nice.
See, it's kind of a crazy hot take, but I can see where you're coming from, and my brain went to instantly. It's like, oh, we brought up Steam Angel, Tyler, you were saying it's like, oh, you can just kill off this creature, right, whenever you want to on your turn, and it's like if people start doing that, I think like Adam's bringing up Lead Boots. You just put a Lead Boots on that Steam Angel, and it's just like, all right, now you can't just kill off this creature. Now we have to actually.
Now we sit here and do nothing.
Now we sit here and do nothing.
So sit here and battle like men.
Yeah.
And women.
Yeah, but like
sit here and battle like adults.
But like you said, it's just, I mean, hey, and that's the thing too with Lead Boots. Like you said, if Steam Angel is a big thing, a lot of good destruction cards are epic and higher. There are like the Cosmos. There's that Orc Magic or whatever I think is the Gen 3 one that just destroys one card. people don't usually run those cards because they usually are a better option. But if Steam Angel exists, you're not going to have that removal, right? Most people won't have that level of removal. I know there is Atom Bomb, which obviously might become more of the meta card that might be a little better in that scenario. But yeah, I'm just saying, as crazy as your hot take sounds, I mean, it is a hot take. I will say, will be surprised to see how many people are putting lead boots in decks, but I don't know. You might be onto something, Adam. You got some early Gen 3 tech for sure.
3 of them. You're not going to be allowed to sack for an AL12 unless it's directly from hand if you're running 3 lead boots. Your opponent's going to be sitting there staring at their double Octo Orc with Bio Dino, thinking they're going to get a fat 17-17. And it's going to be like, all right, well, lead boots.
Yeah, all right. You ready for my hot take?
Go for it.
I think when Gen 3 is released, Steam decks will be irrelevant and not able to be played because of the cards that exist in Gen 3.
You're retarded.
That's my hot take. That is my hot take.
Sorry for the language.
I think we need to do a wellness check on you right now.
Yeah, well, hey,
would you like to elaborate?
I will. But hey, I like to throw the heat around first, Adam. I like to let the room simmer a little bit after I just toss that one out there. Yeah, no, I do believe. I think the game has a lot of inherent things added to in Gen 3, and I think honestly there's more benefit to having cards that can interact with Magics than cards that don't interact with Magic. And so I think overall, Steam will just not have the ability. Like we said, they have very set amounts of what Steam can do. They have the set damage. They have these set things. Obviously, I know, Adam, you're bringing up Burn. I'm sure, Tyler, that will be your guys' argument is Burn can be played with these cards, which is very powerful. As my phone goes off. And so it's like, again, yes, I believe that there are some cool, powerful burn cards, but as you said, Adam, there is only a few, and I don't think they interact with Steam totally as well as some of the other burn cards that already exist in the game. And I think, again, there is just so many things that outpower Steam when you talk about these AL12 creatures, and so many magics that also just give you these crazy stats that can help you just like destroy these Steam creatures way faster than these creatures can do anything to interact with you. And so I think Steam will be a deck that cards that don't see much play once Gen 3 is released.
Chat, if you can clip this, when I win the Ward Bowl this year, we're going to play this message back for Harry to sit and watch.
I'll clip it for you, Adam.
Hey, everyone already clipped the Sharks. Yep, clip it. And everyone already clipped the Sharks when I said Sharks will never win a tournament, Adam. And I'll just tell you what, I've got a pretty good track record so far.
Listen, fifth place in the Ward Bowl last year. So what, I got to do 5th or better, or do I have to win it all?
No, just win it all with the Steam Deck. That's fine. Either way, I just think you don't even have to do that.
You're so wrong.
It's like everyone could just play Steam and hey, that'll make me wrong right there. But I think overall, Steam will lose its power. So there you go. There's my hot take. Like you said, I'll throw a hot one out there.
One of the things I'd like to mention super quick is one of the dirty, disgusting combos that we were talking about is with the card Soul Eater, allowing your card to take a limited summon creature and use it as a sack. Me and Tyler were talking, the Psychic Toad is able to steal your opponent's creature as a limited summon temporarily. This is a way to essentially kill off your opponent's creature in one shot. Steam is immune to that, just as an FYI. But yeah, we'll see, Harry.
All right. Well, there we go. We all have our hot takes.
Clicks in the chat.
Yeah, we'll let the comments in the chat and everyone decide. They can say who had the hottest take out of us for this Gen 3 and for episode 36.
I didn't really think I had that hot of a take, but
there you go. Hey, man, I'm just saying that we'll let everybody talk about it in the comments. But there you go. I think that'll be a good wrap up for WWB, episode 36. And again, it's nice having you on, Adam, VictorApex, and having you on, Tyler, again. With that, I think we'll call it a week. So we'll see you next time, guys.
Oh, see you.